We're very, very sensitive to that, as the BBC, as the people making the programme, and as Lionheart Television, responsible for selling it. So for us, it's payback time.
Great. Now, as we can swing over to Jon. Jon, you've been asked as you appear around the country to do many things for PBS stations in terms of eliciting membership and helping people to understand the importance of membership. What are your thoughts in terms of Doctor Who and this very important program, and why people should really dig into their pockets, as Brian has said, to become members?
Well, purely to see it. I mean, they won't see it if it's their favorite program. They won't see it unless they do.
Being strafed. It is very important indeed, and I know that it is very different here in America with the this television situation with the public television station than it is in Britain. And as Jon has suggested, it is as simple as that. If you do not help your public television station, then it is not possible for them to bring you the kind of programming you enjoy, like Doctor Who. As I can turn to Sylvester, he is experiencing his first wave of Doctor Who in this country as a part of this tremendous institution. Sylvester, what is your initial reaction to the fans of America, and what are your thoughts about public television as you pick up the role?
Well, I mean, the fans are great. I mean, they're wonderful, amazing people. And they gave me such a great and joyful welcome when I arrived. I thought someone else had come onto the stage when I arrived, but it was only me, and I was so pleased. And they all dress up and in these wonderful costumes from the show. It's like gives you a feeling of what it's going to be like working with all the monsters when I get there.
John Nathan Turner, you've experienced working with the monsters as well, and you've obviously been a very great supporter of Doctor Who here in America and of the PBS stations, one of the best friends that PBS stations have. Your thoughts on the importance of membership?
Well, I mean, in this country it's absolutely vital, and I think that the Doctor Who fans in particular, or science fiction fans in particular, are particularly excellent at digging deep in their pockets. And I don't see any reason why they should stop. I know they won't stop, because it is with their continued support that we are able to make the programme back home. The money here goes to Lionheart, that money comes to the BBC, and we're able to make more episodes. We're able to keep going. So one thing is feeding another, really. So please don't stop, everybody.
Does the energy that you pick up from Doctor Who fans here, and by you, I mean the entire show staff, obviously people from around the world bombard your offices and the BBC's offices with letters and thoughts and suggestions. How does that energy assist your staff in keeping on with this very important show?
Well, I think it's a very privileged position in a way, because many television shows are made in a vacuum. And there's no kind of reaction. It's not like working in a theatre where you have an audience, or like tonight where we have a few supporters around us while we're chatting. We're making a programme in a television studio and there's no feedback. So that fan mail to the office, whether it's asking for Dalek blueprints or whether it's offering a suggestion for a new companion or a new storyline or whatever, is very interesting to read. Now, obviously, we can't take all of those on board remotely, but every now and then there is a germ of an idea that we can use. So I think that letters, much as I often curse them by their sheer volume, I think we're in a privileged position to receive so many.
Great. Sylvester, before we swing back to the other end of our distinguished panel, your initial experiences with the American fans, what is the question that the fans themselves have most wanted to know? What's the question you've been hearing again and again?
Who are you? I'm me. But I'd like to say the public broadcasting thing, which is new to me. I also think that we keep talking about the Doctor Who fans are sending in money. Surely also you should be asking all fans of public broadcasting for no matter what they are, to send in money, because it is very similar to the BBC in the fact that you don't get interrupted by advertising all the time, and you can see some very quality class stuff on it. So I think they should all send money in. Even if you hate Doctor Who. But who can hate Doctor Who?
Thank you very much. You had me worried there for a minute. Jon Pertwee to my left. It is very well known that you had a particular series of adventures with Daleks. And it is well known as well that Daleks were not necessarily your favorite being that you encountered. Let's talk about Daleks for a little minute.
I didn't like their feet and little black gym shoes showing beneath the rubber.
Again, we're talking feet here. This is a coincidence. Yes.
What would you like to know about the Dalek?
You have this marvelous way of turning it around to me.
I'd much prefer hearing you talk, really. The Daleks they were very nasty. Nobody really, it's only an encasement. You see, a Dalek isn't really a thing. It's an encasement for a thing. It's a being that used its brain so much that it lost the use of its arms and legs. That's right, John, isn't it? It's right, good. Anyway, one day we took the top off and we showed the world what a Dalek looked like, and half the world threw up. It was made with, I think, with squeegee, which is it's a washing up liquid, a lot of spaghetti, and a glass eyeball. I think it was something like that. Didn't look very pretty.
Thank you for that insight.
Well, I thought you'd like to know. So, no, they weren't my favourites, but I mean, they were the world's favourites. I mean, there's no question about it. The Dalek was the most feared.
And still retains this amazing magnetism for fans.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Brian Sloman, as you were growing up in the UK, what is your most lingering impression of Doctor Who growing up as a child? Obviously, you've passed those years.
Well, I was 10 years of age when the programme came out, Eric, in a small English boys' boarding school, and it was singularly the most important programme on television in our lives. And, of course, being in a disciplined society of an English boys' school, we weren't allowed to watch television all the time, and so TV was a treat, but Doctor Who was a particular treat. And you'd have all these young men running around the English playgrounds, imitating, I'm sorry, John, imitating Daleks. Yeah. So it was fundamental to our growing up.
Great. Now let's once more swing back to the other side of the panel. We have a couple minutes. We have a couple minutes left here. Everybody,
swinging. Having swung back.
I think I've damaged my tail.
No.
They gave me this box.
Is you all right?
Yeah, I'll survive.
You're getting all red.
It's painful. Show must go on.
Yes.
Why don't we talk a little bit in our few remaining moments about Sylvester McCoy, your hobbies, your backgrounds, the kinds of things that make you tick, so that people will better appreciate what the fine qualities that you're bringing to the role of the Doctor. As you said, who is Sylvester McCoy?
Well, that's a secret, really. That's why I play all these other parts. Maybe I'm searching for whoever Sylvester McCoy is. Well, I'm just a quiet, boring family man, really. When I go close the door, when I go home, people always say to my wife, "How do you manage to live with him? He's out of his head." And she said, "Well, you should see him at home. He's really boring."
You're a great fan of literature, and you read a great deal.
Yeah, I've read. That's why I got these glasses. I've done my eyes in reading. I've read a few books, yes. And I go to the theatre and cinema and walk on the heath, really. I play the odd game of chess.
You should probably define the heath.
Oh, the heath, sorry, yes. The heath
here it's a candy bar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Imagine walking on candy bars. That man's got a very odd hobby. No, it's a beautiful part of London where I live. It's a big parkland, and it's kind of like the countryside, only in the middle of London, nearly.
Now, you are, with your family, living in the London area.
Yeah.
And how will the shooting schedule of Doctor Who affect your existence? Will your life be very much different from your when you're working on the stage, working in a regular television show?
Well,
I
don't know. No, I should think it's. I mean, I've done. No, you kind of sometimes you're away from home, then other times you'll be working just down the road at the BBC Centre. So sometimes.
Okay.
In a theatre somewhere else.
Speaking of BBC Centre, let's thank our guests for their time and their great support of public television. To my far right, John Nathan Turner, the producer of Doctor Who. To my immediate right, Mr. Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor, and welcome to this country. To my immediate left, ready, everybody?
Well, you got the air quick.
Yep. Jon Pertwee, Doctor number 3, and Mr. Brian Sloman of the BBC and the wonderful BBC Traveling Tour exhibition. On behalf of everybody here, thank you for your support of public television, and please do remember, when your public television station calls, it's time for you to call. Thanks very much. Thank you, buddy.